Today we're going to make Chinese food called baozi, or steamed pork buns. The whole process takes about 3 to 4 hours, but it's worth it. It's one of my favorite things to eat. There are 4 steps. Step 1 is to make the bread dough. Step 2 is to make the filling. Step 3, to wrap it. And step 4, steam it. Step 1, we're going to make the dough. Here are the ingredients. 1 tablespoon of dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of canola oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Warm water should match our body temperature, so it should be about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. First, you put the yeast, the sugar, and the warm water in a bowl, and let it proof for 3 to 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it's bubbly and foamy. So now add the flour in. Add the oil. And the salt. Now knead the dough. So my grandmother taught me how to knead the dough, and she said the dough needs to be smooth, and your hand need to be smooth, and the bowl also need to be clean and smooth. Let it sit for an hour, and the size of the dough should double, then it's ready. While we're waiting for the dough to rise, we're going to make the filling. You will need 1.5 pounds of fresh ground pork and 1.5 pounds of napa cabbage, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of black pepper or white pepper. If you like it spicy, you can add half a teaspoon of chili powder. Wash the cabbage and remove the water. You can do this by either shaking it vigorously or dry it with paper towel. Now chop up the napa cabbage. Cut it as thin as you can. Now turn it 90 degrees. And again, the best you can. Afterwards, if you think it's not fine enough, you can do more chopping. that's good enough. This is half of a tablespoon. You can put in 1.5 tablespoon of vegetable oil in the vegetable. The reason we do this is because we don't want the water to come out of the vegetable. That'll make the filling soggy and it'll be difficult to work with. You gently stir this up. Actually, you can just shake it. Also, at the beginning of the recipe, we said 1.5 pound of napa cabbage. It could be anywhere between 1 to 1.5 pound. Add salt, egg, ginger, black or white pepper, chili powder, soy sauce, and stir it up. Okay. So you add the vegetable and stir it up, mix it together. This is after 1 hour. The dough is ready. You can tell it's probably double the size. Now we're going to make it. So you take this whole thing out. By the way, depending on the temperature of your house, the dough might rise of your house. It might take longer for the dough to rise, so just judge by the volume, not by the time. In the winter time, I think it took like 1.5 hours or 2 hours for the dough to rise properly. But in the summertime, like now, it takes 1 hour. We need some flours, like the all-purpose flour for to use. So we have a bowl of them here. So you put some on the board, and then you knead the dough a little bit. And then you cut it into equal sections. You put 3 of them back. And you keep 1 of them here. You cut this into equal segments. When you roll the dough, if it gets sticky, then you can add some flour. And then make sure you make the edges thinner than the middle. The middle needs to be a little bit thicker. So you will notice I'm just rolling the edges, not the middle. Yeah, these edges needs to be thinner than the middle. You want to squeeze it tight so that it doesn't expose the filling. So after you make the baozi, let it sit for 45 minutes for the second rise. It's time to steam the baozi. We use this kind of a steamer. Add 7 cups of water. This is the first layer, and put cheesecloth on top of it so the bun does not stick. Give it plenty of space for the buns to grow. This is the second layer. Turn the heat on. When the steam comes out, keep it on high heat for 25 minutes. Then it's ready. Now the steam is coming out. Set a timer for 25 minutes. 25 minutes is up. So now we turn off the heat and let it sit for 5 minutes.